We're in high school. It is Monday, August 31st. We just finished our first week of distance learning and our halls are still empty. I'm outside, up on campus today, so you get to hear some of the nature noises in the background and remember what it was like to sit here in the circle on campus. I love the wind on campus through the circle. Classes started this week, school began, but it doesn't feel like school started being up here. Campus is still pretty empty. I've never seen the parking lot so empty on a school day. I was walking around for a little bit. The elementary doors are bare. There should be little cute pictures of animals with kids' names welcoming them into the classroom for the year. There were no opening ceremonies this year in Tapunan where kids were welcomed into middle school or found out what house they were in for high school. There should be kids playing soccer and basketball on this court right now, but they aren't here, and so they're just using it for construction and to park vans. No one's eating lunch on this bench. There are empty classrooms, empty offices, because the people who should be here can't get here, and they're stuck out of country. Every bulletin board is bare. There's no information there because there's no one to see any information that might be posted there. There's a 6-step process just to get into the high school office to pick up supplies. There should have been volleyball and soccer games this past weekend. We should have had a cross-country meet on campus, and none of that happened. School started, classes started this week, but it sure doesn't feel like it. This is not the normal start to a school year, and this is not how the first month is supposed to go. We were supposed to be at high school retreat this weekend. That's really frustrating because it's entirely out of our control. We wouldn't have picked this for our school year. We didn't want this to be the way things are, and we can't do anything about it. And honestly, we don't know how long this is going to last. And that's really, really hard. It feels like our fate is in the hands of unpredictable governments and a virus that nobody can quite figure out. And that's unnerving because we can't control either of those things. All we can do is go along with what they impose. We need to remember though, and I need to remember for myself much of the time, that my fate is not resting in those things. It's not in the hands of governments or viruses or conditions or circumstances that are happening in the world around me. My fate rests in the hands of the God who put those governments in place and who created those people in his image. My fate rests in the hands of the God who created this world and controls and ordains everything that happens in it and isn't powerless in the face of circumstances that I am powerless in the face of. I just felt the first drops of rain, so I'm gonna have to retreat indoors. So for now, we'll continue to be apart for a little while. This is all of what's happening on campus in the coming month. Our hallways are empty, and they're gonna stay empty for a while. We're not exactly sure how long. So while we're here, we can trust that there are bigger things at work in the world and a bigger person at work in the world. One who can handle it, one whose shoulders are big enough to bear the weight of all of this and to protect us all under his care. I hope that in the coming weeks, as we continue on with our distance learning in the different situations and different places that you're in for this semester, that you would learn to trust in that care and rest in it, even when it's hard, and that we would continue to encourage each other to trust in that care. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sane. Speaking of needing to trust when things are out of our control, I had finished filming for this video up at school, and we got home and got some news from our visa office. Because of COVID, we didn't end up leaving the country this summer, and our visa expired, and we weren't able to renew or reset it. And so we got stuck with an overstayed visa in the past few months. And we thought they were going to adjust things because of travel bans and restrictions, but they hadn't. And so we were issued last week an order to leave the country and given 30 calendar days to leave the Philippines. We are going to appeal that based on the obvious extenuating circumstances this semester, but we're not sure what the result of that is going to be. So it's one more thing to be trusting God about this semester. It could be that in a month from now, we'll be back in the States. We don't know. So we'll see what happens, but we're trusting that this is in God's control.